Hi everyone, this is Tin Goose bringing you a weekly maintenance tip video. So it is Saturday morning, time for my weekly water changes, and I'm about to hook up my Python system and do about 50% water change in the 75. But I'm also about to do some sand maintenance. So I get some questions every now and then about maintaining sand, especially in a split substrate. And as you can see, looking at the 75, there's definitely some opportunity. Start getting the Eco-Complete coming over, you get the detritus on the top. So I'm just gonna do a quick little video about what I do to maintain the sand, kind of keep it looking nice, like it was when I set it up. So stay tuned. Now the first thing is I have all the pumps and filters off. I want to decrease the flow. I normally actually do is the light off as well to kind of decrease stress on the fish, but it's on to kind of facilitate the video. So I'm just going to do a little manual water change work here, and hopefully this shows up for the camera. Apologize about my face in the video. Okay, so the one thing that's nice about sand is that most of the detritus is going to accumulate on the top. And so I just like to hover right over the sand. As you can see, it starts picking up the loose detritus that's on top of it. Got to move around. Look at that. So move around your wood or other decor. Pretty much every week this gets pretty bad, so I just make sure I get all that detritus as I'm doing my water change. You see it comes up pretty nicely, and that does kind of the first phase of the sand cleanup. And you can see it, I'll kind of keep going through. I do a couple passes of this throughout, so this is just the first pass to get all the really big stuff. I'll do this one more time once I kind of do some of my other steps in terms of sifting the gravel just to get all the Eco-Complete out. But before I do that, definitely want to go through and get all the big detritus that's off of the sand. It's on top of the sand off. So let's see, it's looking pretty good. Okay, I do this for a little bit longer. I'm not going to bore you with all the details. I'm going to skip to the next step. Okay, so on to phase 2, and the second thing I do is I try to get this Eco-Complete substrate kind of sifted out of the gravel as best I can. And to do that, I have this little sieve that I bought at, I don't know, it was like Target or one of the big box retailers a while ago. It's like $2. So this thing comes in incredibly handy. I just go through here periodically. I do this maybe about once a month, just to kind of keep this looking good. And let's see, let's get these kind of rocks out of the way. And let's go through the sand, push through the Eco-Complete into the sieve. And it does this particular sieve does a great job of just passing through the sand. The really small Eco-Complete does pass through, and over time it does kind of build up. But I do find that it kind of settles to the bottom. So this tank's been set for 2 years now, and once I'm done, it looks pretty good. You're going to have a little bit of, kind of cross-contamination over time. It's never going to look like the day you first set it up. And let's kind of move my Eco-Complete back into the main area. So it comes in really handy. This also lets me kind of stir up the sand a little bit, kick up a little more detritus that might have got trapped a little deeper. And so after I do this, I'll go through and run the siphon one more time over the sand and get that detritus that's now settling over top right now. That's one nice thing about sand is it's so compacted, or so fine, I mean, not really compacted, that the detritus most of the time is just going to settle right on top of your sand. You're not going to find really big pieces of waste. And also over time, if waste does get in there, fish waste, just like any substrate, it will break down over time. You'll get bacteria in the sand that will help break that down. But this is just one extra step to kind of help kind of re-sift, and you see you get that nice clean sand on top. It kind of stirs up the sand. The stuff on the top might have a little algae growing on it. Gets stirred back down, and we'll maybe kind of process that and kind of keep the sand looking new. So I'm going to just keep at this, do a couple more sieves here up front, and try to get as much of this Eco-Complete out of here to kind of keep this partition looking as clean as I can. So I'll be right back and kind of show you what this looks like after I'm finished. Okay, so you can see the sand's been sifted. It's looking much cleaner than it was before, not nearly as much Eco-Complete of the other substrate. Like I said, it's been 2 years. It's never going to look like it did the day I first set it up, but I just try to do this once a month just to kind of keep it looking as clean as possible, and keep the substrates as separate as possible. But now this is why you have your filters and power heads off, because you can see we've kicked up a whole lot of detritus in this process. Now I have to go through one more time and just remove any excess detritus that's now on top of the sand, and some of this water that's kind of localized over here, just to get this out. Make sure I get as much of this water out in this side of the aquarium during my water change. As soon as I wrap this up, and we'll kick off my Python water change system and do a 50% water change, which will get a lot more of this detritus and other material kicked up into the water column. So you definitely want to do this first and then do your big bulk water change, just to make sure you get as much of this out as your tank as possible. So I'm not going to sit here and kind of bore you and make you watch the whole water change, but you can get the idea. This whole process takes me about 15-20 minutes. I do about once a month as I'm doing my change, and usually try to coincide it with one of my bigger changes, such as my filter maintenance and things like that as well. So hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found it helpful. Like, subscribe, ask me any questions, and also I'd love to hear your tips on maintaining sand. Oops, pardon me, a little spill there. About how you maintain your sand. I'd love to see what works for you, and what's other techniques I could be employing to maybe make this a little better. So thank you, and hope you all have a great week.